Hello there, my stamping friends. Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell project for you for our Summer Celebration Wonderful World class. Today we're going to be working with different layers of Designer Series paper and a fun new layout that I haven't tried before. And we're going to be doing a masking technique with our stamps. So I'm going to review with you how to do the mask and how to create layered images. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I am using 3 different DSPs for this project. You could replace any of the DSP layers with a cardstock or an embossed panel. So, you know, make the card your way, but I am using some different DSPs. Okay, so first off, we have our card base, which is Whisper White. I have my front panel that I'm going to cover the front of my card with. So we've done that before. And remember, you could replace any of my choices of Designer Series paper with different ones from the paper set, or if you're using a different DSP pack altogether, you could certainly do that. So all these projects I'm sharing with you, you could simply case the idea with other products you have. So don't worry about making them exactly my way. I'm just showing you one option. Okay, so there's my first covered card. Now I have a large square panel which I have embossed with my 3D fern, which I've done on a lot of my projects. And I'm just going to put that one down with adhesive as well. So put that down. So that's just going to be framed in by that back layer. Okay. Got a little adhesive there. I'm just going to rub it off. No problem. Okay, now I have a little paper ribbon. It's 3/4 of an inch by 4. And again, that's just a sample of my DSP. It's actually a piece of scrap from cutting up my DSP. So you could use the DSP, or you could use just a paper cardstock ribbon. So whatever you want to use, or you could replace it with real ribbon. Okay, you could do that as well. So that's just going to go down there. Okay, so there's our base template. Now we need to do some stamping. Okay, so I've got another square here. This one's going to go over here as our focal point in a minute. First, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Now, you know I'm using the Celebrating You sentiments, and this time I'm using the teeny tiny thank you. Now, usually I have been die cutting first and then stamping because I can see through my block, but this one's a really tiny die. So I found it easier to stamp this one and then take it to my Big Shot, box it in with my die, right, and then cut it. So I've done that ahead of time. So I've got that done. Okay, so we'll put that over there. Alright, so now we need to do our stamping with our flower. Alright, so I am using the I can't think of the name right now. I'm using this flower. How silly is that? Okay, so what we're going to do is first we're going to make a mask. Okay, because I'm going to show you masking. So this is just a Post-it. So I've got the sticky side. Make sure you know where the sticky edge is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my image, and I'm going to stamp it along that sticky edge. Okay? Then I'm going to peel it up. Now I'm actually going to make 2 for this one. This time I'm putting my sticky edge on the other side, and you'll see why in just a minute. I'm going to stamp this side of the flower that time. Okay, so now you need to trim it out. Okay? So I'm going to trim out this one first. So you want to leave as much of that sticky part there as you can. I'm actually going to come in and do the flower side first, and you'll see why in just a minute. Sometimes when you make a mask, you end up cutting all the way around your image. The way I've got this one laid out, I only need, on this one I need the flower side, and on the other one I need the back side of the flower with the stem. So it's a slightly stepped up version of masking, where I'm using a left-hand mask and a right-hand mask. But it worked well for the way I wanted to lay out my flowers. So Coming in. Now when you make a mask, you really want to cut in close, because what you're going to do is you're going to stamp your image down and then you're going to cover it up with a mask and then you're going to stamp over it. So if you have too much of a ghosted edge on your mask, it's going to leave a gap in your image on your paper. So usually I say it doesn't matter how you trim them out, but this time you really do want to get it close to the inked edge. And I use Post-its for my mask because it's a super thin paper. It's got that sticky edge to help you hold it in place. And then it's not, by being super thin, it doesn't leave a thick space to have to stamp over. So you, again, you don't end up with a ghosted edge. Okay, so you see I cut that one out that way. Now you would do the same thing on this one, but I would cut out this side. Now I've done that once already. Okay, so there are my two sides. And you can see I've left the sticky parts on there. Okay, so first we're going to lay down the images that we're masking. So I'm going to ink these all in my, this is Highland Heather. Doing them all in Highland Heather. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp down my first one here. Okay, and then I'm going to put my mask over the top, just piece it on, and see if I can get it right where it needs to be. Take your time. Okay, cover it up. Okay, so there's my first one. Now I'm going to do a second one over here on this side. It could be the same height or slightly off, it doesn't matter. Okay, and I'm going to put this mask on this way. So again, line up your images and then cover it up. Okay, so now I can do a third one in the middle, and I'm going to go higher. So kind of like we're looking at a field of flowers. And then when I pull those masks up, look at our effect. I've got layered images, but without the overstamping on each one. And now I've got a focal point. So you could use it like that. You could put that right on your card. And we'll put on our thank you, wherever we decide to put it. And we could be done. But we're going to go a little farther. Okay, so now I have another piece of white in our project. So what I'm going to tell you to do is you can either marker the image and stamp it in two tones, okay, or you can stamp it all in green and cut those out, and then just stamp the flower heads and cut those out with the purple. So I'm going to do it that way because I like the way the ink pad leaves these images, very distinctive images. Okay, so I don't know, maybe we'll do 3 and put them over each one, or maybe we'll just do 1 or 2. But there's that. Then I gotta clean my stamp. So I'm gonna bring in my chamois, and my chamois is filthy. It's time to run it through the wash, but I'm just gonna use it. So I spritz my cleaner on there, and then I just clean off my stamp. Okay. Nice and clean to go again. So now I have, let's see if I can get them on there. I have to do just my flower heads. Okay, so I'm not going to do it. I put those too far apart. I'm just going to get another piece of scrap. So if you'd put them more strategically closer together, you probably could have gotten them all out of one piece, but you're just using scrap for this anyway. So pull out another piece of scrap and just stamp yourself 3 blooms. Okay, so now you're going to use your scissors. You're going to fussy cut these, right? I know some of you don't like to fussy cut, but some of you don't mind. So let's just get busy. So I'm only going to do 1 on the video. You know how to fussy cut, I think, but just in case you haven't done it, you just come right along your image and trim it out. You can trim out as close to like we did with the mask, or as, you know, give it a little halo edge around the outside if you want. Since we're going to be placing these over the top of our stamped images, I'm going to try to get close, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And if you decided you wanted to do flower heads on all the images you already stamped, you could have stamped the first ones in all green and then just done your flower heads in the purple and then put them over the top. That would work too. So you have lots of options here. Okay. Then I'm going to come right down the stem. Come back up. You see, and then I'm just dropping the edges as I go. And then I'm going to come back and go in here. Come back up. Go around my edge. A little bit left. Okay, so it doesn't take that long, but it takes a little bit of time. So you would do that with as many of the ones as you want to pop up on the card front as you want. So you could do one, you could do two, three, you could do three, you could do a whole dozen if you want to, but it's your card. Alright, so there's that, and then you're going to fussy cut out the flower head as well. So I'm just going to come in like this, trim it out, and then again we would just fussy cut around the bloom, which I find to be a little bit faster than doing the whole stem. One, it's a smaller image, but two, I'm not worried about getting all those sharp little leaves in there. I'm just getting the curvy, little curvy bloom. So I can go right along, pretty zippy, and get that done. Alright, so now I'm going to take a dimensional and I'm going to layer the purple flower on top of the stamped green flower. And I'm going to use a dimensional. So I'm just going to flip my flower over, put my dimensional on, layer that on top. See how that pops with the two tones? And then those, right, are going to get adhered to my card. So this guy I'm going to put down with adhesive on my card because my flowers are popped up, so I don't want too many panels making it too thick. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then this is going to go on there as well. Like I said, you could do as many of these as you wanted to, and then I'm just going to, now you could offset these, right? You could really make them have a purple panel behind and then the green panel in front. I'm going to do that. I'm going to offset these. So I've got the purple one stamped behind, and then I'm making more on top. Now I've done a couple of these ahead of time, so I have another one. I'm just going to bring it over here off this edge, so make that kind of an active edge. I'm going to put that one down. So I'm going to go a little lower. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so now I got my little thank you that I can decide where I want to put it. I could put it between them. I could put it off to the side. I could put it up high. I could put it down low. Wherever you decide to put it. I am going to put it down with dimensionals though. And of course you could use a different sentiment. If you want a larger sentiment, you could do that. So whatever works for you. Okay, so there's my little banner. Where do I want to put it? I want to put it right there. Okay, so there is our fun masking project for today. Now, I know some of you don't want a mask. It's too much fussy cutting, and you're like, nope, not for me. So how can we make this card a little bit different? Okay, so remember this nice large sheet of flowers, and I said some of these you don't get the whole image, but you know, you've got parts of flowers that maybe you could use. Well, I did just that for another sample for you. This bottom corner rose, right, I'd already cut these out for other projects. This bottom corner rose, I left the corner on so it was squared off, and then I used it as my flower on the card. Yeah, it's a little fussy cutting, but it's not the masking technique. So on this one you can see I kind of made a difference. I used the same background, but then instead of using an embossed panel here, I used a second piece of DSP which had that flower in it. Then I embossed this smaller square in my mossy meadow. I used that flower there in the corner. I picked up a different paper ribbon from my scrap, and then I've got that same thank you. So switch it up, make your card your way, but you have options in all of your card crafting. Alright? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I think we have one left. I think I'm on this, I think this is number 8. So I've got one left. We're going to do a fancy fold, and that'll be it for our summer series. So I hope you're enjoying all your cards. I hope you're having fun making them, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.